This morning, just days after an armed rebellion, Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke in Moscow's Cathedral Square, praising his country's security forces for stopping what he called a civil war. Last night, in his first public appearance on TV since the weekend revolt, Putin called the organizers traitors. Ian Lee in Ukraine has more.
The failed mutiny last weekend still hangs heavy over Russian President Vladimir Putin. He lashed out again at Wagner's leadership on state TV last night, saying they would be punished for the rebellion. But he also courted the rank and file, calling many Wagner fighters patriots who were misled and invited them to join the Russian army. The Ministry of Defense announced today that Wagner will now hand over its heavy weapons. Putin's speech last night followed an audio recording from Yevgeny Prigozhin, who has not been seen publicly since Saturday. The Wagner boss denied trying to overthrow Putin, saying his fight was with the country's military leaders, who he accused of failing to win the war in Ukraine. Putin tried to mask the uncertainty in the country last night with images that he's firmly in control. He met with his security chiefs, including Minister of Defense Sergei Shoigu, and thanked them for their support. State media portrayed a return to business as usual, with scenes of battlefield victories in Ukraine. But Saturday's mutiny showed cracks in Putin's strongman image. Wagner troops quickly seized the city of Rostov and the Russian military southern command, then headed toward Moscow. It took a deal, brokered by the president of Belarus, to stop his deadly advance toward the city. Wagner fighters would be pardoned, and Prigozhin would go into exile in Belarus. Putin also took aim at the West, telling his people that Russia's enemies wanted them to choke on bloody civil strife. On Monday, President Biden distanced the United States from the insurrection.
We gave Putin no excuse to blame this on the West or to blame this on NATO. We made clear that we were not involved. We had nothing to do with it. This was part of a struggle within the Russian system.
U.S. officials tell CBS News another $500 million aid package to Ukraine will be announced today. That'll include Bradley and Stryker armored fighting vehicles, equipment that Ukraine desperately needs as it continues to take ground in its counteroffensive. And today we're learning a plane linked to Wagner boss Yevgeny Prigozhin has landed in the Belarus capital of Minsk. No word yet if he was on board. Vlad?
Ian Lee in Ukraine for us. Ian, thank you very much.